Raise your hand if you have ever wanted a close relationship, but found yourself pulling away right when it starts getting good. Yeah, I've been there too, way too many times. Today in episode 110, we are talking about the hidden emotional baggage that messes up our relationships and how to finally let it go. Here's what I have learned after many years. Most of us don't want to ruin our chances at love, connection. We actually want the opposite. We want to feel safe with someone. We want to be loved for who we are. We want to feel real closeness and peace in our relationships. But something keeps getting in the way. For me, that something was old emotional baggage. I didn't even know I was carrying. I wanted closeness. But every time things got close, fear would kick in. The fear of being disappointed, the fear of being rejected, the fear of getting hurt again. So I would start judging small things, saying mean stuff, or pulling away to protect myself. I was actually pushing away the very thing I wanted so badly. If this sounds like you, if you have ever wanted connection but still found yourself creating distance, I want you to know that you are not alone, and the good news is it's not too late to change. I want to welcome you to episode 110 of Baggage Began Healing Hearts and Mind. Thank you for showing up for your own healing, because that's what this episode is about. Rewiring your old stories so you can finally create the healthy, intimate relationships you truly deserve. Let me get honest with you. For years, I wanted better, more intimate relationships, but I was my own worst enemy. I would start getting close to someone, and then this negative voice would kick in and say to me, they're going to disappoint you, they're going to leave you. Don't get too attached. Go away. Pull back before you get hurt. So I will become critical over small things. I will judge them, say mean things while convincing myself that I was right. I was just being honest. And slowly, emotionally, I will withdraw. I will build up excuses so I could run away if things got too close. Of course, I was always expecting the worst. And sure enough, the closeness I wanted so much never fully happened. It wasn't that I didn't want love, friendship, or harmony. I did. But deep down, I had this old programming that relationships had come to mean pain for me, even though I didn't consciously realize that. I was carrying these old stories of hurt, rejection, and fear. Heavy baggage that made me resist getting closer to others, no matter how badly I told myself I really wanted connections. I don't know if it sounds familiar to you, but if you're here, you might hear stuff that you do too. Have you ever done that? I wanted to open up and get closer to other people, but found yourself creating distance, getting critical, or expecting disappointment instead. That pattern kept me stuck for a long time. Unconsciously, I was choosing the wrong relationship, the wrong people, because I didn't believe I was capable of healthy relationships. Until I finally started facing my old stories, my old fear, and learned how the subconscious mind really works. You see, sometimes we say we want something really badly. But if our subconscious mind is holding a different story, it will quietly steer us away from it. It will sabotage our efforts because we don't really want that. We're afraid of it. That deeper part of us, where our real actions and decisions come from, the subconscious mind, was still protecting me from what it believed would cause me pain. Because somehow, along the way, love, connection, close relationships for me meant danger. So if we keep struggling to create something we say we really want, it often means there is an older mental and emotional baggage that's still running the show. That's why I decided to talk about this topic. That's why I wrote this episode. I want to welcome you to Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm really grateful you chose to spend this time working on your heart and your life. It means a lot. If you're tired of pushing people away when you actually want closeness, if you have been struggling to create strong, intimate relationships and you know something inside you keeps getting in the way, then this episode is for you. Today's in episode 110, we are talking about the hidden emotional baggage that silently sabotages our effort to accumulate healthy relationships. And more importantly, how to finally release it so you can build the deep, peaceful connections you really want. No fluff here, just honest talk, real stories, and practical insights you can actually use. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's dive in together. What this means. When we carry old mental and emotional baggage, let's say past hurt, betrayals, rejections, or disappointments, we start seeing even new people through that old painful lens. We anticipate criticism, we brace for rejection, we feel unsafe, and without realizing it, we often create the very distance, avoid, or conflict we fear. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught in the book The Power of Your Subconscious Mind that what we mentally and emotionally give to others, we first give to ourselves. And here's the beautiful truth I want you to really take in. Relationships that truly flourish, grow into intimate relationships are not built in one dramatic moment. It's not the look, it's not the word that you said. They bloom through steady time, meaning consistent effort to grow and patient tending into this relationship, much like a beautiful garden that you cared for. When we genuinely set the intention to create something better by releasing the old stories and choosing new beliefs, new programming, we are reframing our old thoughts. Our unconscious mind begins to guide us toward the choices, words, and openness that make that deeper connection possible. This is not about becoming fake or overly nice or people-pleasing. It's about being emotionally honest, and we take responsibility, being congruent, where your intentions, feelings, words, and actions are all in harmony. And if you have been working with me, you will know that that's the truth that I'm often talking about from the first session together. It's about deciding from this moment forward that you no longer want to carry the poison of old stories, old pain, attachment patterns into your new possibilities. The subconscious pattern most people miss. One of the thinkers who helped me to understand this long before I got even married more than 30 years ago is Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I told you about his book. He described the subconscious mind as a kind of recording system. It doesn't argue with what you feed it. It simply absorbs your dominant thoughts, intention, emotions, and reactions, and then plays them back through your experiences and relationships. In simple words, what you repeatedly think and feel is what you eventually get to live. This is not just fluffy positive thinking. It's about realizing that many of our relationship struggles are not mainly caused by the other person. They often begin with our internal patterns, thoughts, intentions that we have been rehearsing for years. Many of them picked up from our childhood, our parents, or past hurts, sometimes lifetimes ago, generations ago. The good news is, even though those old programs were installed long ago, today we are responsible for reprogramming the ones that are no longer serving us and gaining new stories, building new patterns. And you can do it through the subconscious mind by hypnosis and energy work. I'm talking about the thoughts you play on and on and on repeat when no one else is around. Those old stories of hurt, the fears, the resentment, the constant expectations of disappointment. When you loop those thoughts over and over, they stop being just feelings. They become emotional habits. And those habits quietly turn into heavy mental and emotional baggage that shapes how you show up in your relationships. Sound familiar? Maybe you're married and you catch yourself waiting for your partner to disappoint you again. This is what I did. Or you bring up old arguments from years ago because you're still carrying resentment. Maybe you're dating and you start picking apart a great person because deep down you're scared they will leave you. Or you emotionally shut down right when things start getting serious. It could even be with friends or family. You don't fully open up because you're afraid of being judged or betrayed. They're going to use the information against you. These patterns show up in so many ways, but they all come from the same place. Old mental and emotional baggage that is running in the background. Let me ask you this. Where in your life right now you're noticing some resistance to closeness? Where does that fear of disappointment tend to show up? Just notice that. Here we're trying to bring the awareness back. That's the first step. There is no need to fix anything yet. Just bring it into awareness with compassion towards yourself. Be compassionate. Here is the time to understand we're not looking for perfection, only for the awareness. Now, I used to have a boss who made me feel terrible. In my 20s, when I was working full-time, every single day I went to work anxious, replaying arguments in my head, what he's going to tell me, and carrying this heavy resentment toward him. I was convinced that my boss was ruining my peace and he doesn't really like me. Then one day I was telling my friend about my boss and I had this big awareness. My own constant negative stories and rehearsing the loop in my head of resentment and mental fighting were actually making everything worse for me. I couldn't enjoy my job. I was poisoning my own time there in the office long before I even walked into the office. So I decided one day to try something different. Every morning I would wake up early, go outside with my cup of coffee, and pray to God to remove my resistance to my boss. I would bless my boss and repeat these words. I'm not kidding you. I will say over and over, I think, speak, and act with harmony and respect toward my job and my boss. I wish peace and success for everyone I worked with. And believe it or not, I wasn't pretending the situation was perfect, of course. I wasn't faking it. I was simply refusing to keep replaying the old toxic story in my head about my boss. I stopped complaining about my boss to others and even to myself. Over time, something powerful shifted. The relationship changed. I felt calmer. My communication improved. I was working better. And yes, even my boss started treating me with more respect and kindness. He was smiling, something that never happened before. Here's what really hit me. My boss didn't actually change. I changed, and that changed everything. Our energy mattered. That experience taught me something I have never forgotten. We cannot always control other people, but we can absolutely change the energy and the stories we bring into our relationships. This story stayed with me because it proves we often have more power over the emotional energy in our relationship than we realize we have, not by controlling the other person, but by taking responsibility and changing the way we think, feel, and the actions inside us. That's the power we have. We cannot always control other people, but we can change the energy and stories we bring into our relationships. For more than 30 years, I've seen this pattern over and over again in my work with people through the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds method. When we carry unresolved emotional baggage, we unconsciously resist the very connection, love, peace, and healthy relationships we say we want. It's not because we are broken or incapable of these relationships. It's because the old pain is still running the show in our subconscious mind. The good news is it doesn't have to stay that way. In few sessions of hypnosis and energy work, we can clear it easily and effortlessly. If you're listening right now and you feel like this goes deeper for you, if you're ready to finally release some of these old stories, patterns, and create the harmonious relationships you truly desire, I invite you to contact me. I would love to connect with you and hear more about your situation and see how we can release it easily and effortlessly. You don't have to do this work alone. And remember, this is not about becoming fake or nice or changing yourself. It's about real emotional honesty and responsibility. It's about deciding you no longer want to carry the poison of old stories, hurts, pain, and finding that there are new possibilities. Here are a few principles I've seen transform lives, including my own, and I would love to share them with you. First, you feel what you give mentally to others, meaning criticism, resentment, and fear are emotional poison. And peace, kindness, and goodwill are healing medicine for your heart and mind. So before you set your intention, before you think, before you say stuff, before you take an action, make sure they come from peace, kindness, and goodwill. Second, no one has the power to destroy your peace unless you hand it over. Remember, criticism only hurts you when your subconscious agrees with it. You get to choose what you believe about yourself. So make sure you choose your words, your thoughts, your actions, that they're serving you and not going against you. Third, stop outsourcing your self-worth. When your value depends on someone else's approval or opinion, you give them control, power over your emotions. So true freedom begins when your peace comes from within, meaning you decide how amazing you are instead of waiting for other people to give you the affirmation and tell you that you are good. Fourth, authenticity is powerful medicine. Stop pretending, people-pleasing, and hiding how you really feel, because this creates huge internal pressure for you. And you attract the wrong people when you do that, because no one knows who you are for real. When you learn to be honest with kindness, be authentic, your whole system starts to relax and you will be able to attract the same kind of people that are authentic and real. And this is how you're going to form intimate relationships that require honesty, honoring yourself and others, gratitude, vulnerability, and truth. Fifth, forgiveness is an act of self-love. Remember that. I talk about it a lot in my other episodes. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was okay. It means you're choosing to take responsibility and to stop drinking the poison of the past. Meaning you're loving yourself so much that you're not allowing the other person to occupy a mental space in your head and your body. Now, a simple tool you can use this week or whenever you need, when you notice old resentment, fear, or that protective wall going up, try this, and this is what I'm doing. Place your hand gently on your heart, breathe slowly and say, I release this old pain, hurt, and I choose peace for myself. I'm open to healthier, deeper connections now. I'm releasing the resistance to bring new people, healthy relationships into my life. I recommend to do this constantly, especially in the moment when the old patterns wants to run the show. It may feel small, but you're giving your subconscious mind a new script to record, and I recommend to do it constantly. This is what I do, and it changed my life. It's kind of reprogramming. I've seen this pattern over and over again in my work with other people. When we carry unresolved emotional mental baggage, we unconsciously resist the healthy, loving relationships we say we want. And I said the good news, you can reprogram it. If today's episode talked to you and you're ready to finally release some of this old mental and emotional baggage, I would love to connect with you and support you in doing this deeper work to hypnosis and energy work, and this is a really powerful work. If today's episode stirred something deep and you're ready to release all the blocks, triggers, and dive deeper into your story or create clear path forward, I invite you to schedule a private session with me. I would love to connect with you. We can work together to rewire these patterns at the root level. Just visit my website or DM me and book a time that works for you. I would love to talk to you. Again, I want to thank you for spending this time with me and staying until the end. You're doing special work by showing up for yourself, for your healing. I'm proud of you. If this episode touched you, please share it with someone who needs it. Please leave a review. It helps so many others to find this episode. Until next week, sending you so much love and peace. This is Tami Mahmali. Take care, and I will see you in the next episode. If you're curious and want to dive deeper, you are in the right space. I ask you to look within for all the things that you want to do, be, and have. Join me at the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast with new episodes every Wednesday as we discover the path towards healing and transformation.